Hey, Dave and Jennifer, how are you guys?
Very good, very good. Thank you.
Hey, doing great. Nice
Where
to see
where
everyone.
where are you zooming in from? Where's your location?
Jennifer?
I'm in LA right now, Studio City.
Nice, nice.
And I'm here at my home studio in Ashland.
Okay, well we're zooming in from Medford, so it's good to see you guys. It's been a while since I've spoken with both of you at the same time. I mean, you guys were Dancing with the Rogue Valley Stars champions back in 2015, and I've talked with each of you individually since then, but not both together. So this is really cool. This is a treat.
Yeah, I'm super excited to talk with you guys.
Of course.
So
Yeah, and I'm also really glad that you guys are doing this virtually this year because otherwise I wouldn't be able to be a part of it again since I'm now living in LA. So this gave me an opportunity that I wouldn't have.
see, silver linings to everything, right?
Yes.
Well, tell us a little bit about that, Jen. When did you move down to LA, and what are you doing down there?
Yeah, so I moved in LA, let's see what year it was, 2004 years ago, so 2016. And first got there, I was just teaching ballroom dance. Also, I did a lot of dance performances, and I did pro-am with students where I would travel and compete with different students. So that was super, super fun. And then in the past couple years, I started doing talent management. So now I'm managing different artists, singer-songwriters, producers. We have a pop group we're managing called Seasons, another pop artist, Noah Kirel. So
Wow.
it's been really fun to be on the business side of things. And also I'm still doing the dancing. So in 2019, I danced for EDC, the Electronic Dance Music Festival.
Wow.
And then I just earlier this year did a tango short film, choreographed the whole thing and was the lead dancer and also co-produced it. So that'll be released in 2021. And yeah, no, I'm trying to just do both.
So you don't sleep much, it sounds like.
Nah, I don't sleep.
You're
Just
living
the LA lifestyle. You don't sleep much.
Exactly.
Sounds like you've adapted. My goodness, you stayed busy.
Yeah.
That's really exciting. So happy to hear that for you. Well, what about you, Dave? What have you been up to since 2015?
So once we finished the competition and that weekend, Jennifer I said, because she left right after, we finished in November, and again in January, she left in 2016 to go to LA, which is interesting, Jennifer, because you're living in Studio City, and I was in Studio City for 10 years, and then moved up to Santa Barbara, an hour and a half north, and then I came here to Ashland. So you moved back to where I live.
That's so cool. We did a little swap.
So right after, just before Jennifer left, I said, "You can't leave. I need to keep going. I want to keep going."
I know. I was really sad because of that.
Yeah. So
Dave just started dancing, a lot after Dancing with the Stars when I was leaving. No.
So Jennifer was kind enough to put a cha-cha routine together, and then I said, "Well, but I have no one to do this with. How am I gonna?" And so she found me. I said, "You have to find somebody that's as good as you, or at least close to it." So she contacted Sydney Smedley, who has also danced with you guys, right, as a pro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Started working with her, and we did that, and went through the same exact sequence of learning the whole cha-cha. And then Sydney actually has her own business also, where she teaches kids in classes. And then she had a showcase for all of the parents and everything. And so we came in on a weekend, a Saturday or something, and we did a big showcase in one of the schools kind of thing. So we were back on stage doing that, which was great. And I had every intention on to keep on going, but with time and restrictions with getting more clients with my business and that kind of thing, I backed away from it. But there's always been this kind of pull. I have, interestingly enough, I don't do a lot of dating anymore just because it's just so challenging.
That was one of those interviews.
Dating or a good partner is harder than finding a good dance partner. So, but interestingly enough, the handful of women that I have dated was one of the first things was I'm like, will you dance? Will you go dancing? And I would let's go back up to Evergreen and start taking classes. So I would go end up in Evergreen every once in a while. And Corey would be up there going, "Oh, so I'm assuming you're dating this girl?" Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, it's a great dating activity. So
we can take credit for your love life a little bit, Dancing with the Stars, right?
now I have box. I'm like, oh, you don't dance? I'm sorry, I can't.
Oh,
You
it's like
wanna-
a check mark. Yeah.
Do you want to make some sort of plug out there to the dating universe while we've got you?
Yeah.
That's
Oh, that's so funny. You know, Dave, I don't know if you've heard the story, but you were in our show. You signed on to do our show in 2015, and that was the same year one of our good friends, Brandon White, was in the show. And Brandon and his wife Lauren, like I said, they're good friends of ours. Their son Bauer was one of our sparrows for Sparrow Clubs. And Brandon is the one, I think, that came to you and told you about the show and persuaded you to say yes. And then I called you, and you were in. But the funny thing is that when Brandon told his wife Lauren that he called me and he said, "Hey, I have this guy that I think would be great for the show," and he told me he was going to talk to you. And you and I hadn't met yet. Well, he tells his wife that you're on, and Lauren turns to him and says, "Oh, great, you just lost." To her own husband. And so it's so funny. And so I think even all the other competitors in your year, I think they saw you as a threat before things even got started. So have you ever heard that before?
I didn't, and that's I mean, I guess it's kind to hear, but a long time, because I know we had that little dinner at somewhere in town at that pizza place or whatever, and that was the first time any of us, I think, met. So I had no idea who anybody else was that was dancing or any of that kind of thing. So I had no idea. And we had already been practicing, right? I can't remember how many weeks already, I think. But so I was always like, man, am I going to be good enough? Am I going to be good enough? Oh my God, I'm sure they're going to have people that are really good at this. And I only knew Brandon. And so, yeah, it was, we'd always show up at the Evergreen, and I'd see maybe one other person dancing, and I'd try to look in, and they close the door, and
little spying going on. That's the way it tends to happen. And one of the things you said to me in one of our first conversations, once I was giving you all the details and saying, okay, you really realize what you've gotten yourself into here. One of the things, Jen, that he said to me, he goes, "I want you to give me a partner that is going to push me to my limits, and that is going to be give me the best that you got." And I'd say it was a match made in heaven, because you guys lit up that stage. And I still remember the performance. And Dave, that jump that you did at the end, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's going to land on her." And then you catch yourself. It was cool. It was cool.
Yes.
Yeah, after the very first rehearsal, I could kind of adjust the choreography to what I felt would be good for Dave. And I was like, yes, I got a really good start. And then that's the only reason I put in those hard tricks, because I wouldn't do that with a lot of people, even professional dancers. I don't try that with sometimes.
Wow, that's quite a compliment there.
I think that goes on the dating app right there.
And he did that tumble over me.
Yes.
I watched back recently, and I was like, dang, that was actually really good.
Yeah.
It's something funny about that.
Yeah.
Jennifer was amazing, because I said, look, once we got hooked up as partners, I remember it was probably the first night, and I said, look, I need a lot of practice. I'm going in. You have to make sure that we have a lot of practice every week, and I'll dedicate as much time as I can based on your schedule. And so what she did I think it was a couple weeks before the actual show, she had set up a showcase with other dancers and stuff. And we went to the Manor in Medford, and we put on basically a showcase for all the folks, the residents. There's 150 or maybe 200 people in that room.
Yeah.
So cool.
I remember that.
Tiny stage there, though. It's half the size of the norm that we had already choreographed, right? Mm-hmm. So when I went to do that role, because I think we're about mid-stage when I go over her, I rolled over, and I basically, when I ended up in the side curtain, like this, and I'm practically off stage in the curtain, and I'm like, wait.
Yeah, I remember that.
And came back on stage.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know why, but it was always my dream to put on a showcase at the Manor. I think it was just my grandma loved that place so much, and I was like, this would be perfect to just do a little practice show there. And then they were down, so.
They love it. I remember being up there, and Dave, you actually spoke for a little bit about Sparrow Clubs after that. I think that was the same time, but I can't remember, so I got to ask you, did you wear the same costume at the Manor that you wore at the show? Because at the show, you had some chest showing there. You were a little bit of eye candy, so you might have been giving some of those old ladies, some hot flashes there.
Right. trying to find a date, Matt. That's all.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
We're talking about memories. Dave, Jen, do you guys have any favorite memories that pop out to you from that experience?
Jen?
Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, when I heard how much we raised, that was pretty amazing to be a part of because, I'm like super competitive and I'm like thinking, oh, we're going to win. But then when you announce that stuff, it's like, oh, this is what it's really about. So I was just happy that was like super memorable for me.
Thank you. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah, it was really, part of it for me was really when Brandon had asked me, I said I just like took the afternoon or so to really think about it because it was really something where I recognized the importance of it and what it stood for and helping these children out and helping the families also of the children out. And it just really hit me at a point where I really, really have to do this. I don't know how to do it. And the raising the money thing, that was always more fearful for me. How am I gonna, I can't just show up with like, $1,000. I really got to try and raise, and I've never had to do that before. I'm like, how am I going to do this? I got to make it, that's where I really got to shine if I'm going to. And we were, Jen and I as a team, were very fortunate because I literally went to all my clients and reached out, and I had a couple clients that were just angels because they went above and beyond to help me raise money. And it was really quite exceptional that we were able to do that. The night of the showcase, and then seeing the projections that you guys were doing with everybody's interview, and then they go out and dance and having everybody there. And then the feeling again of what it was all for, that all of this is for the kids, and how, man, it was just like electrifying for me. And I'm sure everybody is, but just before we were on and we're on the side stage curtains and you're like, man, I was like shaking. I was so excited. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm going to totally explode. And then it's really neat because then you walk, the stage is black and they're showing your bios. So you walk out and it's all black on stage, right? But you see the audience and you're hearing the audio going on. And then you hear the music go on and the lights go on. And that was like, okay, here we go. All right.
Showtime. Yep.
Yeah.
Honestly, like that experience also inspired me to continue doing that kind of work. Now I volunteer for Inner City Arts, which is a great organization here in LA. So, thank you for showing me.
That's a gift just to hear you say that it inspired you to continue doing charitable work, and that's awesome.
Yeah, that's one thing that we always hope for in our program, especially, it's geared towards students, Sparrow Clubs. Dancing with the Stars gets to pull the adults in, but it's a heart change that we're going after. And if we can do that for adults as well, we all can find our happiness and our joy by serving others. And we have to remember the fundamental piece of that in life.
Yeah. Being part of Dancing with the Stars, you gave your time, you gave a lot of your energy, you put yourselves out there asking people for money, which is one of the scariest things for people, actually. So you bit off a lot to be a part of this and to make it happen. And we just can't thank you enough, even all these years later. Thank you. And thank you for coming back and being part of this Look Back project that we're doing.
Yeah, and I would like to thank you guys too, and for you, Jennifer, too, because I can honestly and truly say that this was probably one of the most wonderful experiences I've ever had in my life.
Wow.
To be able to do this and be able to give this way and be a part of something that you guys have created like this. So thank you so much for that. And Jennifer, again, thank you so much for all your friendship and your coaching and just how much you just shared to get me to where I was to make that happen.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for all your hard work. I wouldn't have wanted to have any other star beside you. Well, I'm excited for you guys to watch our routine again and just think about that dangerous trick we did at the end. See if you want to vote for that. I put my life up for risk.
That's very true. That's very true. All I would say is that, my gosh, every dollar, it's pretty amazing how fast things can build. So again, you hear this a lot with any time people are asking for contributions, but every dollar that you contribute makes a big difference in someone's life. So if you're certainly if you're watching, what does it take just to do a quick little text? And even if it's $1, that's fine. And if it's $5, that's fine. And if your heart is more open and it's $10 or $20 or $50 or $100 or a couple $1,000, I know that may sound like $1,000. Who's going to do $1,000? But there's plenty of you out there that are in a position where, yes, because you've been a part of other things, and that wow, that how much that can help someone.
I couldn't have said that better myself. Thank you, Dave, and thank you, Jen. And is there anything else you guys want to add?
I just love you guys very much.
Yeah, you guys are amazing, all of you guys.
Thank you.
So excited for this year to be part of this again. I've already been bugging so many of my friends. So.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Again,
thanks for taking the time.
And take care of yourself. I'm here if you ever need me.
Okay, thank you. Might take you up on that. Jen said something earlier about a foam roller. I maybe could use one of those on my back. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.